Welcome to American Black Journal. I'm Stephen Henderson. It's Minority Donor Awareness Week, and it might surprise you to learn that 58% of the people currently on organ donation waiting lists are themselves minorities. Here in Detroit, the 20th annual Gift of Life Walk and Run on Belle Isle last weekend brought attention to the need for more African American organ and tissue donors. Joining me now are Remonia Chapman. She is the program director for the Gift of Life Minority Organ Tissue Transplant Education Program, and Dr. Terra Defoe, Honorary Community Engagement Chair and the mother of a donor. Welcome, both of you, to American Black Journal.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. So let's start with the idea of trying to get more African American organ and tissue donors. Talk about why that's important.
That's important because, just as you mentioned, over 58% of the waiting list are ethnic minorities. 35% of that is African Americans that are awaiting kidney transplants. And even here in the state of Michigan, 46% of those persons that are waiting are African American awaiting kidney transplants. So it's important that we get more people involved in the message of organ and tissue donor and signing up to become organ donors, and that's what National Minority Donor Awareness Week is all about. Yeah. And as you mentioned, we just celebrated our 20th year with the Gift of Life MOTAP Life Walk, and MOTAP is, again, the Minority Organ Tissue Transplant Education Program. Right. So
and just for people who may not quite get that, you're more likely to match with someone of your own race, correct?
Yeah, especially with kidney transplants, because kidney transplants are matched by antigens. So we get 3 from our mother, 3 from our father. So better match will get someone in your family, but if not, then someone in your ethnic community. And so that's why it's extremely important. All other organs are matched by size, blood type, how long you've been on the list, and things of that nature. But because the kidney transplant list is where the need is the greatest, then we need to definitely have more minority organ donors.
And talk about some of the things that hold African Americans back from doing that. It's a pretty easy thing to do. You just check the little box on when you get your driver's license. Why don't we see more people doing that?
Well, yeah, you can go to the Secretary of State and get the little red heart. But again, because the MOTAP program was founded because people were reluctant to sign up. And it was just because of a fear of, premature death. They sign up and get to the hospital. People wouldn't try to save them, or
take your organs.
Because of, their own religious myths and misconceptions about organ and tissue donation. So getting the faith community involved in the message of organ and tissue donation has been important. And also because of certain things like, the Tuskegee experiment, and that people always looked at that as a historical marker, that natural suspicion. But we found out that the major reason was because people were not going into the community, really talking to our community about the importance of organ and tissue donation, talking to them about the high rates of diabetes and high blood pressure, and as those being the 2 leading causes that people would need kidney transplants. So as we've taken that message and married it with our donor family members, our recipients, educational programs that are fun and exciting and engaging, then we have definitely seen an increase in organ and tissue donors.
Yeah. Dr. Defoe, you are the mother of a donor. Tell me about that.
Yes, I met Ramona back when I was working with the Michigan House of Representatives, and one of the programs that we were working with, the legislators were doing the community engagement. And so when it came time for my son to get his driver's license, I took him down to Secretary of State, and we talked about organ donation, and of course he brought up well, if somebody tried to run me off the road and take my organs,
take my organs,
and I'm like, stop, that's not how it works.
That doesn't happen, right?
It doesn't. That's the movies.
Right.
And so but I explained to him how my grandmother has 2 different color eyes because the corneal donation that she has, so she has 1 blue and 1 brown. And so he's like, okay, now I get it. And I said, and at the end of the day, wouldn't you want somebody else to live on if you can help? And so he checked the box, and when his license came, it had the heart on it, so he was excited about it. I'm an organ donor as well. My daughter is an organ donor as well. So having that time to educate your family is very important.
Yeah, and that move, that gesture by him to be an organ donor turned out to be pretty important.
Yes, not realizing 6 years later
right.
He would, be called to give his gifts. Right. And so he had emergency heart surgery in 2014. And he didn't recover from the heart surgery, and it was 4 days of just the up and down, waiting to see what happened. And then when it was clear, after we learned that he was bleeding on the brain, it was, what do we do next? And finally, a decision that I didn't have to make when they asked, would you like to donate his organs?
Well, he'd already made that.
And I told him, I said, finally, one decision I don't have to make today. And so he's already registered. So when they came back, because they didn't believe me.
Right.
So they came back and they said, how did he register at the age of 18? You don't see that, mainly in the African-American community.
Right, right.
And so told him the same, threatened story.
Right.
And so, and at that time, it really became real, because now the things that I worked with Ramona through the house on, it became real of now having to experience and walk through this process myself. Yeah. And they were very thorough. It was a 3-hour screening process. They asked every question under the sun. When they got to the questions about his sexual activities, I said, hey, he has a daughter.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
Right. I don't know any more than that.
I don't know any more than that.
Right.
And so, but it was very interesting for them to just walk you through, and I guess rightfully so, because you're taking something from someone else and it's going into someone else, and so they need to know everything about the individual. And so it was a bittersweet, but at the same time I was able to see,
and it saved people's lives.
6 people were able to now move on with a decent quality of life. And at the same time, this is how we honor my son and continue his memory, is through the Gift of Life Walk Run.
That's such a wonderful story. And
Thank you.
It really does. I mean, I'm sure for you, it really gives meaning to his life in a way that that goes on. Yeah.
Yes.
Quickly, we've got about a minute left. I want to give you a chance to talk. Are there other barriers? Are there some structural barriers also to organ donation that you need to deal with? She was talking about legislative action and things like that.
Well, no, unfortunately, Michigan is a first-person consent state. Now the Secretary of State's clerks asked the question. That was one of the things that was passed earlier this year, that everyone has asked the question, it's time to become organ and tissue donors, because a lot of times people say, well, no one asked me.
Right.
Now we want to make sure that doesn't happen. You're asked at the Secretary of State's office. You're right. You're asked at church. We'll ask you wherever you are. We will be there to ask you. And you can always go online to www.giftoflifemichigan.org and sign up to become an organ donor.
Okay. Great to have both of you here, and congratulations on the work.
Thank you.
Yeah.